Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of What is on Imran's Mind, or just a general live chat, to be honest. I have to apologize to people where I don't give you much notice. The main reason is because sometimes it's not like until half an hour before I go live, but I know that I can either fit it in or I have the, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do a live chat. Why not? Let's have a bit of fun or something. So I was just sorting out a few things, just waiting on a client to get back to me about if they're happy to proceed with like phase 2 of their project now. And also we released version 3. I always say it's me. I released version 3 of the image optimizer, which has now been named to Pix Refiner. Hey crafty team, hope you're okay. And so far it's gone down pretty well. A few people have reported the odd issue or whatever, but some of the issues that some people have said are more server side, and I can't do anything about that. And what I have actually said to some people is, look, I know it works for me, works on other websites that are hosted elsewhere, works on other people who've tested out version 3 as well and come back with thumbs up. So I always say that, look, if you've got it and it's not working properly for you or whatever, then you've got the code. Chuck the code into AI, explain your specific problem, and see if it says, yeah, there's a way around it. Maybe you need to tweak this bit of the code, or it might even say, no, you're a bit stuck, If you go with some host providers where they don't have like certain permissions set up in the back end with regards to you being able to touch files and stuff like that, then you're a bit stuck. But this is where you could say to the code, okay, I'm not allowed to modify the name. So the AI will then tell you what to strip out. So you can still run the other parts of the code. But what I'm not going to do is start tweaking the code for every person's individual circumstance. Because some people that use Breakdance have said it doesn't change the media URL properly, but then that's because of the way Breakdance does stuff with how it talks to WordPress. And there is a potential fix for what to do here, but I'm not implementing it because I feel like it could have a I don't know. I haven't tested it out, so I don't want to tinker with the code overly. If you find it's not working for you properly, just go and stick it into AI. And I think a lot of people I have noticed are not doing that. They'll say, oh, what about this? And what about that? It's like, just stick it into AI, okay? And then get it to do what you need to do. Hey, Mohan. Hey, Paul. Hey, John and Kyle. Thanks very much. Excited to try version 3. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Kyle, right? Take a backup, okay? Take a hardcore, really good backup and you'll be all right. Now I'm going to come on to Michael and Mohan's questions. I'll do Mohan's first. Can we create a step-by-step form with conditions to generate an interior design quotation? Well, you could do step-by-step. You could easily do that or using Elementor. You have said all of these are free plugins and free. The trouble is, though, you are going to need Elementor Pro. And if you're not going to get Elementor Pro, that's your problem. If your client's not going to pay for it, then you need to explain to your client, we could use Forminator or another third-party service that then, it's all down to then how comfortable are you working with it. And I always say that if a client does not want to pay for Elementor Pro, that client is not worth my time because they don't take the benefits of the premium version of Elementor seriously, or they don't take their website seriously. Anyone that says, oh, I want a website that hopefully is going to make me $1,000 and $10,000 next year and double my income, if they then want to like cut corners and they're not even going to pay 59, 67, whatever dollars it is, then I would say, do you really want to be working with them kind of thing? Because they're going to be forever cutting corners. But if you want to do a quotation thing, look, you could use Forminator. You could use Elementor Pro Form. I've got code snippets for how you could set up conditional logic. So when you pick certain items, then different questions appear. And then based on your answer, another different set of questions appear. So you can literally have conditional logic all within the Elementor Pro form. Back to Michael. I've kept you waiting, mate. And I'm going to quickly ask, what are your suggestions for speeding up a website? Well, themes, templates, all of that stuff, it's going to have bloat and all of that. Hello. Unfortunately, you got to use hello. Or you could custom load your fonts, convert your images into WebP or ABIF. Obviously, I've released, the version 3 of the image optimization code snippet tool that could help you out. You got to kind of think about what's on your page. Is your page really long? With like 20 sections and containers, everywhere? Or is it that you've got heavy duty stuff like videos and carousel sliders galore? So when you say how to speed up a website, what I would say is when you look at your website online or you go to a mobile phone, how quick is it? And also, what are your page speed scores saying to you? Because that can reveal a lot about how you can improve your website. John, may I ask what program you're using for YouTube videos whereby your content is on your computer screen and your face is in the bottom right of the screen? Okay, so I'm using OBS. So OBS you can get for free for the Mac or your Windows machine, right? So at the moment, if I just show you, so if I was to go and do something like this, right? So right now you're viewing my screen. Normally you see when I'm recording, I will do like this full screen and then you'll have me in the corner. So what happens is I have my webcam as my full screen, but then I have a copy of the webcam as another window, which is this little window. If I pick it up, whoa, I can't pick myself up now. Why can't I pick? Sometimes it does this because I've been messing around the settings. But normally I can, resize myself, move my mini window around. But then I also have the big window. So if I just do that, you will now see the mini one and the big one, which looks pretty weird when I start to do that. And there should not be a delay. Everything should be in sync kind of thing. So I have my screen. I have the full screen here. But then I can also, let me just put this back to where it was, like that. I can also then view my screen, and as I'm clicking and, doing whatever I'm doing, right now I'm on my YouTube screen, but, or whatever you're doing kind of thing. So OBS, really simple and easy to do. It's free. The great thing is, right, it's a free bit of kit, right? And I can sharpen the screen. I can add colors, overlays, stuff like that. There's a lot you can do. You can show a screen that's over here, and you might be recording here and the screen's there, and then you just overlap yourself kind of thing. But I did a video on how my setup is done, and I talk through all of that in there and how you get yourself a mini version. But it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, John. Mifli, how you doing? Mohan, can we align the latest blog posts in card shape? I mean, all in equal size as they give us different size. Well, what you need, this is a really simple one, okay? So if you have got different sized images, right? It's not the card you need to sort out, it's the images. So you now need your images to be a certain width, a certain height, and then you display as cover. When you display as cover, it doesn't really matter how wide or tall they are. It fills the set width and height that you specify. So there's many ways you could do it. In a loop grid, you could set it to be, assuming that you're using loop grid, but I've got a feeling you're not because you mentioned Elementor 3. But what you need to, and by the way, John, you do need to go and watch a video I did about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. It's about how I did all my setup. It's about 40 minutes long video, but I go through. In fact, I'll find it for you. Okay, I will literally find it for you right now just to show you how nice I am. So if we go over here, I think if I type in OBS, here you go. So it's this video over here. It's about 25 minutes long. Let me just get rid of the sound. So somewhere in the video, where do I do it? Where do I do it? Here we go. Recording about 13 minutes in. I talk through how I've done my setup, basically kind of thing. So you may want to, let me just share, copy. Let me stick it down here. So there, I've just shared the video, and I have got another one as well, actually, which is my OBS settings. So I'm just going to share this one with you as well, so that you've got all of the videos that I think will help you out, my friend. All right, so there's 2 video links for you, okay, John? That will help you out with that. Hey, Eddie, how you doing? You just installed... Hey, look, Eddie, make sure you take a backup, all right? Because it's very unpredictable in terms of what permissions you have with your host provider. Now, if version 1 or version 2.1 worked okay for you, you'll have no issue with version 3 whatsoever. But just to be on the safe side, right, I would say just take a solid backup. Don't just rely on updraft and stuff like that. Nice one. But and by the way, there is a new button, right? I think this extra button I shoved in here is pretty neat. I mean, I know you can get it as a plugin, but now you have export media library. You click it and it shoves all the images into a zip folder and it goes to your downloads. And I think that's a nice little safety mechanism I shoved in there. So if anyone goes, oh, I lost all my images or whatever, and I didn't take a backup, or and they whinge and whatever, and they do whinge, believe me, they whinge, and they have a go at me, and I'm like, where's your backup? Oh, I didn't think I needed it. Well, now I'll be like, well, why didn't you export as well? Do we have free hosting anywhere? Well, if you go onto ChatGPT, it will tell you where you can get free hosting, but your free hosting will have probably not great SSL, probably not great security softwares and stuff like that, right? It's probably going to be, you'll be one of millions of other free websites on a massively convoluted shared server. So just imagine what your speed of your website will be. Just imagine for a moment. Okay, Kyle, one thing I have been trying to create recently, X amount until free delivery bar. Want to avoid X amount until free delivery. I think I've done something for that. I'm sure I've done something for I'm sure I've done a code snippet for that. I'm sure there's a code snippet whereby it says you've still got like £20 to add before you get free delivery, or, you know, free delivery at £40, but you still need to add 23 quid to your cart. I'm sure there's a video. Eddie's got a question. So the Pix Refiner creates 4 sizes plus the 150 by 150 thumbnail. Okay, Eddie? So if you do 1920, 1000, 900, 400, it will do those and the 150 by 150. So in your backend files and database, on your front end, you'll see the biggest size, 1920. But on your backend, you'll have the 4 sizes plus the 150 times 150 thumbnail. That's really important. That's crucial. You do need that. How can I choose the size I want to use in Elementor, as I understand you can't? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because once you've done that, when you go to Elementor, okay, it will have loaded through the sizes. In fact, I'll try and see if I'm going to open up one of my test websites. Please bear in mind, though, that I've been messing around with the images. The images are going to look like really blurred and, oh, flip. Why is it not accepting my password? Why is it not accepting my password? Here we go. Right. Okay. So this is my test website, which I'm not even showing you. There we go. We're on my test website and we're going to go to pages and I'm going to go to flip. So this is like one of the test pages. Ignore how the images look, all right? Because I obviously was messing around with the sizes. But look, this is it's really stupid image, right? So if I go and pick, say, let's pick this image over here, right? So if I go and pick this image, can you see over here, image resolution? Oh, hold on. This has got the thumbnail in as well. No, I think I need to run it again. Oh, I think I need to run it again, my tool now, because I've been messing around with it. So you're just going to have to give me a moment. Oh, it's not activated. What have I done? Where is it? Am I on the wrong website? I think I'm on the wrong website. I think I'm on the wrong damn it, I'm on the wrong website. I can't show you on it. Right, but what will happen? I'm on the wrong website. Stupid me, I went to the wrong one. But what will happen is you'll have the other sizes visible there for you, Eddie, for you to pick. So you'll be all right. Carl says that version 1 saved him over... No, 40 gig. Yeah, that's right. You said, and you had the spreadsheet. 40 gig over 25 sites, 17 to go. Did back up the first one with all the one. Excited to see what version 3 does. Version 3 maintains what the other ones were doing. And I think that's pretty important. So version, it does like maintain what you had. So you're not going to lose out on anything. The key thing though is that you've got all of these extra features. Some of the extra features were kind of on my mind and I wanted to implement them, but I wasn't sure what the appetite was for them. And then some were like people going, well, what about this and what about that? So I tinkered with the code a little bit to try and satisfy people. But obviously the big thing, as you all know, was the addition of ABIF. So a lot of people like going, you know, we would love to have the whole ABIF thing, and I'm really glad that we got that built in. And it works. The only limitation to ABIF is your host provider. And if your host provider can't handle it, unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about that. That's between you and your host provider. So you need to now go and, I don't know, have a word with them about it. Because it's all down to your GD and your Imagic libraries. Everyone assumes, right, that websites will automatically go and do this for you, right? But that's not the reality of how things work. Right, I've managed to get this uploaded in. Right, so if I just clear the log, right? So Eddie, if you're still watching, right? I'm just going to go and set some silly sizes like something like that, right? 1,200, 900, 600, 300, and I'm going to set the width. The 150 by 150 is always created, so 1,200 is my new main size. This is really important. This is my full. The 1,000, right, 200 is now my full. And then I'll have 900, 600, 300, and the thumbnail, which is always 150 by 150. So if I just make sure, I mean, I'm going to leave it as WebP for now. That's all set, and just hit run. And then what it's going to do is it'll just go do all its stuff, warn you, blah, 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 does all that stuff for you. If I go over to my library, this image is 457 because it's below my main value, which was 1,200, but those sizes will be created. If I go over to my full now and I go to edit with Elementor for this particular page, ignore the blurriness, all right? Because these are currently using, like if I just show you over here, right, this is using a 35 by 20 pixel size image, all right? That's why it looks so shit at the moment, okay? If we go over here, image resolution, the full is the 1,200, okay? That is the full. Then we have the 900, then we have the 600, then we have the 300, and the 150 by 150 is your thumbnail. So it all kind of works. It kind of works, right? Yeah, kind of thing. I mean, some people have said to me like, why did you add these extra features? And I'm like, if you don't like it, don't use it. You don't have to export to media. You don't have to set your height. You don't have to do that. You don't have to convert to ABIF. Some people have said like, you know, isn't it dangerous because we don't understand it? And I'm like, well, there's a video. The video explains it. There's notes at the bottom of the tool as well, which I really like. If someone says to me that we don't get it, I'm just literally going to say to them, right, well, just go over to the tool, like what I'm just going to zoom in at the moment, scroll down, and you have an explanation for the buttons or what's happening. I even tell you what steps to do. And then I give you a reminder about this is better suited for a brand new website. You can use it on a legacy website, but that's at your own risk. Make sure you take a backup. Any tool you run, there's going to be a risk with a legacy website. You can export your media. The more images you got, it will take longer to run, but it does it every 50 images. The log will update. The rollback, so if the conversion fails for any image, so per image, it tries to convert. If the conversion fails, it rolls back that image, goes to the next one. So it tries to protect you as much as possible. If you want to support me, you can support me, but you don't have to because I know a lot of you won't. When you are running, the stop button appears. You can hit stop. So and don't forget, you got the exclude as well, right? So if you decide you want to exclude any sizes or anything from being affected by any changes or anything like that, you can add, hit that and I'll go, right, let's exclude that image over there, right? And it will now exclude that image whenever you do that. I think I'm waffling now. So I'm just going to shut that screen down. But yeah, it kind of makes sense. About mobile, what size do you recommend? 600's too big, Eddie. If you think about it, Eddie, right? This is an iPhone 15 Pro, right? I wouldn't want to go bigger than, say, 450. I would say 500. If I was honest, right? I would go 1920, 1200, 500, 300, and then 150 by 150, I think is pretty decent. But you could go with 600 as well. But you don't need to set the height, Eddie. You just set the width. It's the width that is more important than the height. Height's great when you get to, like, if you've got portrait images and now you want to, the portrait image might have been 5,000 pixels tall, and then you want to condense it down. But you will find that just go for the width for now. Mohan, which is the best freeform builder in your perspective? Forminator. Forminator's pretty good. I've done videos on that. So Mohan, don't be insulted by this, right? Don't be insulted by this, but here's what you need to do, right? Here's what you need to do, okay? So don't be insulted by what I'm about to do next, all right? Okay, and I hope this makes sense, mate. All right, but this is like the really simple thing to do. And I don't understand why people don't do this, okay? So watch this, right? I'm just going to post your question into ChatGPT. I don't understand why people don't just do this, right? So look, it's going to do it for you, and you're now going to get pros and cons and what's good and not. And if you wanted it to be free, then we refine. Oh no, you do say free, so it's in there. And this will now give you like options and whatnot. So I don't understand why people still don't do this, right? It's literally there for you to stick your question in and go and get it, and you'll be fine. You don't need me to start going, well, I would use this and I would use that, because there might be a plugin or a tool that I have not heard of that is actually better suited for you. So go and give it a go. Idris, how do I change website sitemap? Can't find on YouTube on how to change the URL. Okay, cool. So once again, let's just go back to what I literally just said. Okay, so what have I just said? We're going to go back over to ChatGPT, right? Let's just scroll down and I'm going to paste in your question, okay? And let's see what it says. So it's now going to say you can change it via Yoast SEO, but you're probably not doing that. Depends on the plugin you're using. Oh no, sorry. How do I change it? How to change the URL? So I'm going to stop this and say, how do I change sitemap with a code snippet? Right. There we go. We refined the question. I took your question and now I've said do it with the site, with the code snippet. I am not going to validate if this works. You would have to take a backup. You would have to change it to what you want or refine your question. and then it will tell you what to do. And once again, the same thing I said yesterday, last week, the week before, I keep saying this. If you really need to do something and you're not sure how to do it, just ask AI. It's probably going to give you a much better answer than me going, oh, you could probably code it in. It's going to actually give you the damn code. Eddie, is it not better to set whip size ideal for mobile? But yeah, Eddie, but that's the thing, Eddie. It's down to choice, which is why I would say 500 width is perfectly fine. You can't be absolutely perfect, and you can't foresee every single size. But I would say 500 is okay. 600 is okay as well in some cases, but I would say 500 is fine. Just set the width size there. Keyframe creations. Quick change of pace from answering questions that I already have tutorials for. I've been working on an upgraded version of your clamp calculator. I want to present it to you sometime soon. Hey, look, Keyframe, if you've got a different version of it, email me. Email me with the code. I'd love to try it out, and obviously if it's worthy, I'll stitch a video together and I'll make sure I give you credit in the video, and if you want me to mention your website or anything like that in the description, I would do, but I'd have to test it out first. And it won't take long to test out. That's the great thing about stuff like Font Clamp. I don't have to sit there and learning, right? Oh, what does this plugin do? What does this setting do? Do I need to watch out for this? Is it going to affect my WooCommerce and blah, blah, blah? I don't have to worry about any of that, right? So if you think you've got something really good, give it a go. So Sam, here's the problem, right? Grock now has implemented, they've done it under the radar. So when you're using Grock and you're like, you might have, and you might have used it for like roughly an hour, it now says to do any more, you need to use Super Grock, or you can't post any more prompts for like 2 hours. And the cost for Super Grock is $30. And because I know that ChatGPT, they're not going to release it just yet. They've delayed it a bit. They're going to release ChatGPT 5 at some point in the future, near future. I'm like, I already pay $20 a month for ChatGPT. I'm not going to pay $30 for Grock. Grock is good, right? But the more you use it, and I have used it massively intensively, my 2 hours has passed now, so I'm going to jump back into it, but I'm going to be a bit mindful of how many prompts I put through, because basically it would not allow me to put anything more. It literally says, no, swap, can't do that. You need to upgrade to Super Grock. But yeah, but ChatGPT is still good. I always find that it's not that far off what Grock is. Raza Shop, for my clothing brand, I love Woo, but a lot of people have been telling me Shopify is better. What say you? Shopify is good if you want a simple shop. If you just want to sell, so you just want to have like your colors, your brand and all of that, and you just want to sell ready-made shop in a way, in terms of presentation, pick your colors and whatnot, great. But if you then want to really bespokeify how the shop looks and the filtering, Shopify now needs a heck of a lot of coding work. If you now want to really customize your homepage and any other page and all of that, there's a lot of customization is required. So there's a lot of coding, and you'll have to probably hire a coder or do it yourself or use AI and say, here's my Shopify page. How do I do X, Y, Z? So it all comes down to that. And what you will find is a lot of people that love Shopify, I find a lot of them are very happy to buy a template, install onto Shopify, and they just run with it. They rarely I might be wrong about your friends, but they rarely go, I'm now going to make a unique shop. They're very much like, tell me about your friends, right? So where you say, a lot of people have been telling me Shopify is better. Have you gone to their shops? Have you checked out how many of them were unique, or were they an iteration of a theme or a template? It's like people that use Astra and Storefront for their shop. and they don't even bother swapping out some of the images or wording. And you can literally look at it and go, that's an Astra storefront template theme you've used. There you go, Raza. See what I mean? Their shops are trash because what they do is they just load it up, stick their products in, change the name, the logo, maybe the odd color. But when you look at it, does it really reflect what they're selling and their brand? So it's easy. You cannot deny that because you don't have to worry about, all of these payment gateways. It's all built in for you. But then, Eddie, I'm wondering when ChatGPT 4.5 is included in Plus. Currently, it is limited and reset. Do you know what, Eddie? I sometimes actually forget what am I... Well, I'm paying $20 a month. I think that's included in Plus, but I might be wrong. Question from Q. What do you think of this new WP builder called Etch? To be honest, I haven't really looked at it. And I have heard people are interested in it. Am I planning to add it to my toolkit? The simple answer is no. Quite frankly, I'm already maxed out with Elementor. I'm maxed out with some brick stuff as well. I've not bothered with Breakdance, not bothered with Quickly, not bothered with Gutenberg or Generate Press, not bothered with Spectra. There's so many things. Don't bother with Shopify or Wix or Squarespace. And until I know that we've got to a point where I need to use something like Etch or Breakdance, why do I need to look at it? Because it's like saying there's a new flavored drink. I don't have to try it. There's a new burger. I don't have to eat it. There's a new restaurant. So what? I'm happy going to where I need to go. You don't have... It's like in our town centre, like 3 new shops opened. I haven't been to a single one. You know why? Because the shops either don't interest me or I have no need to go in and look or anything like that. So I always say that at the end of the day, right, Elementor, Bricks, Breakdance, Etch, Generate Press, Quickly, all of these products, okay, Oxygen, right, they all have their strengths and weaknesses, and people will argue to the nth degree over which one is superior or better and all of that. And Etch could be doing loads of stuff far better than any other page builder. But that's a moot point, and you could argue it many, many ways. And some people will be very passionate about it. Some people will be very naive about it. Some people will be very biased about it. I'm not saying anyone is naive or biased, but I'm just saying that happens when you have, like, sometimes tribal mindsets. Oxygen people hate Elementor. Elementor hate Breakdance. Breakdance don't like Elementor. Bricks don't like Elementor. It goes swings about, roundabouts, okay? But what I would say, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying now. Everyone will have their own opinion, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I can't remember what I was saying now. My train of thought's gone. My train of thought has gone. My train of thought is gone. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. So you got all of these page builders, right? But they're all built on WordPress. So then you need to argue, should we be using WordPress? Should we be using something else? Should we be using Wix or Laravel or Magento or anything or Shopify? In fact, why are we even using any of them? Or Webflow? Why don't we just build hardcore raw with HTML and CSS and JavaScript coding? Why are we even using a page builder for? So I always find that these arguments or questions, it's a good question, by the way, Q. It's a good question, and well done for asking it. But it's one of those questions that I just flick off because it's like, what's the relevancy of the answer? There is no relevancy of it. It's all down to what you want to use. And if you're happy with what you're using, stick with it. Unless you want to learn to use something else. And then you got to look at the time to learn it. Is there a different cost? I can't remember what the cost of Etch is. I can't remember. Does anyone remember what the cost of Etch is? So you got to factor all these stuff in. Keyframe, you touch on how hard you worked on the WebP snippet. And I think you'll appreciate these upgrades big time. Keep an eye on your inbox for Tristan. Keyframe. Yeah, I will do, mate. I will do. And if I don't get back to you today, probably tomorrow, because after the live chat, I've got some other things I need to do. Sam, we are Shopify partners, but still most customers require... You see, that's interesting what Sam said there. I know people, in fact, Jeffrey from Lightbox, he used to be a Shopify. He used to build for Shopify, and then he transitioned... He still does, but he moved more into like, the WordPress world. And that says a lot, right? About Shopify and all that. Lucy, thank you so much for providing the WebP converter, also known as Pix Refiner. It was time consuming and hectic, but thanks to you, my WordPress life. Have you actually used it, Lucy? So hopefully you took I might be pronouncing your name wrong. I'm saying Lucy, but oh no, wait, hold on. It's Lucifer666. I just realized I'm saying Lucy, but Lucifer. Take a backup. Let me know what your results were. Stick it in the comments. I love it when I find people. Like there is one person whose website, get this. Listen to this, right? Their website is over 100 gigabytes. I nearly fell off my chair when he emailed me. And I have said to him, I literally wrote, please, please, please take a solid backup and all-in-one migration and check with your host as well to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you can restore before you use this. Because seriously, like 100 gigabytes, just process that. And it's because their website, it's a client's website. So it's not even their website. It's a client's website. It's a shop with 121, I think it was 118,000 products. Like brain explosion, right? So I've said to him, just please be safe. Mohan, does plugin snippets that we create using ChatGPT really run for a long time? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Unless you've done something really specific for a class name and the class name selector then changes. But Mohan, come on, right? That's like saying, think about it, Mohan, right? CSS, we still probably use the same CSS language, even though it's advanced and there's new features and functions and stuff. But the core basics are the same as what they were 20 years ago. SQL, Transact SQL. It's still the same language as what you had years and years ago. T, should a website for an ophthalmologist with an exclusive design and target group use motion effects? No, why would you want to use motion effects? Think about this right now. I used to train to be an orthoptist, right, in medical school, right? A lot of people that go to the ophthalmologist don't just have spectacles for reading and distance. They may have nystagmus where their eye shakes. They may have Brown syndrome where they look down, the eye deviates. They may have other syndromes or conditions. They may have left lateral lectures paralysis. They may have esotropia where the eyes converge in, exotropia where the eyes converge out. They may have pseudo-esotropia. They may have distance exotropia. They may have loads of things going on. So if you think about it, what's the benefit of making the website move? Because what if they've got like nystagmus is a shaky eye? Have you noticed people have prisms? They're like these little, they look like, you won't realize it's a prism, but they have these like little lines on their lenses, like a sticker sometimes. And what that does is when they're looking, light goes in, but the light doesn't go to their focal, the back of the eye or the retina, right? It deviates. So they need to get the prism to move the light back into the middle of the, I'm getting my wordings wrong now. The eye nerve, right? Ocular nerve, okay? The sixth nerve of your brain. That's the other thing. Your eye is an extension of your brain. A lot of people don't realize that. Your eyeballs connected are the physical part of your brain exposed to the outside world. So if that is not happening, right, and they might have double vision, diplopia, that's known as, okay? Why do you want to add animation on to complicate it? And did the ophthalmologist say they want this? Because if they said they want this, I would question how much they respect their profession. But if you want to do it, speak to the ophthalmologist, because they should be like, no, we don't want to complicate it. Right? Right? Got to be careful. Think about the end user. Who is going to be the user of this website? It won't be fellow ophthalmologists. It's going to be patients, clients, customers, people that want to buy glasses. So think beyond, oh, we'll throw in a bit of GSAP, we'll throw in a bit of fancy, sliders. When you hover over the logo, it spins around and the words float down like Matrix. No, you don't want to do all of that. Carl, I agree. Shopify versus WooCommerce is horses for courses. Exactly. Woo is more customizable. One thing I do love is Shopify's cart layout. Yeah, I mean, that's where Shopify is really strong. And I would love it if page builders took a leaf out of their book. And even WooCommerce. You would think, right, since the dawn of Shortcut and all of these things, you would think that WooCommerce would go, oh, you know what? For so long, we've been running with the separate page layout. Shop, single product, cart, checkout, boom, right? Why don't we allow users to pick if they want to go down like that, or we have the single page cart checkout? Why have WooCommerce not done that? If James Kemp, if you can hear me over there, right? If this is the question to WooCommerce. Why don't you look at the fact that there are people that are like, you know what? I prefer the single page approach, especially if I'm sharing virtual products or downloadable. I don't want them to have to go through like because for a lot of virtual and downloadable, you don't need the address. I do include the address though, even when you're buying one of our courses on the learn.websquadron.co.uk website. Why? Do you know how many people contact me later on and go, oh, I need an invoice? Then I have to get their address. Then I have to manually type it in, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I reintroduced the address part of the checkout, because originally I had hidden them away about a year ago-ish. Some point year, I think nearly a year, because it was a pain in the ass. But if you know you can get away with not having that, why have WooCommerce not done that? I'm surprised. I really am surprised. What's your thoughts on that? Should WooCommerce look at what Shortcut and other people are doing, or Shopify and all of that, and go, you know what? Why don't we now say to our users, who obviously must love bespokeifying, otherwise why are people using WordPress in the first place? I know not everyone bespokes their website. They just go and install a template or a theme, but a lot of people do. So why don't we give them the option for a different view? And I have to say, right, there are 3 things that WooCommerce needs to integrate into WooCommerce, and I still don't get why they don't. Number 1 is different versions of the cart checkout. So if you want to do a single page, you can. That's the first one. The second one is subscriptions. They need to build that in. You shouldn't have to get another extension to do subscriptions. All right? They should build that in. And the third one, I can't remember what the third one is now. It's gone out of my head. I have this problem with, I have something to say and it goes out of my head. Subscriptions. Subscriptions. Single page cart. What's the third one? Filters. That's it. Right? I know it depends on your page builder, but surely WooCommerce can start to think about integrating some sort of filter system. Like, seriously. Because Grid Builder is brilliant, but if you could just bring over some basics, like, a price range, better versions than what we currently get, right? If they could just do that, it would make WooCommerce better. WooCommerce is still full of bloat, full of inodes, full of crap that just bulks out the size of your files and database, right? You know what I mean? But don't you think there are some basic extra little things that WooCommerce could do to make the plugin better, right? Would you agree with me, right? One page cart and checkout, okay? Subscriptions, and filters. so many times, right? All of these developers, right? They're like, yeah, we're doing these new features on WordPress, the Gutenberg, you know, and we're doing some stuff for WooCommerce and blah, 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 blah. Fuck all that and just get the basic. Give us those three things to make WooCommerce even better. Because so many people are not going to spend $200 a year for WooCommerce subscription. Like, a lot of people are not going to do that. They'll use Paid Membership Pro or some other plugin, right? And now you're playing a little bit fire with fire because you got third-party plugin and it works with WooCommerce. But what if there's an issue? And then, you know, your whole website hinges on the subscription because you got courses or yoga classes and you want to restrict who can come and watch you in yoga and all of that stuff, right? So, which is why I did the Pix Refiner, the image conversion tool code snippet, because there were different tools. There were already WebP converter plugins. Some of them did AVIF, not all of them. There was a separate plugin for exporting your media library. No one was really properly doing the maximum sizes and all of that. What about getting rid of the images in your files and database that, you know, like all of these duplicate images that created when you drop in a big size? You know, there were different things doing different things. And I was like, nah, let's bring it all together, right? Let me try and give you one thing that's going to help you out massively, especially on brand new websites. Legacy websites always carry risk. You know, I don't care what tool you use. I don't care what image conversion, what delete unused images or batched things that you got, you know, duplicates. I don't care what you use. You will find an element of risk with a legacy website. All right? There will always be risk, but I have done my damnedest to make this as watertight as possible. But I know that I can only do so much. And someone may look at the code and go, you can make it even more watertight if you add this bit in. Or, you know, over here, you got these lines. Ding, 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 ding. Why don't you replace them with this? Because this is even better. And here's why it's better, right? Even more watertight. And that's what I hope people will do over time. I'm really sorry for how slow I am on going through the questions, by the way. Q is in Generate Press, Bricks and Gutenberg. Yep, good on you. Paul, I already have Bricks lifetime deal, but I still bought into Etch as it looks amazing. What has been done in the first 6 months is brilliant. I mean, I have heard good stuff about it, but I'm quite happy just using what I'm using at the moment. Do you know what, Kyle? I would like to think, right, that his website... I mean, the problem is, though, you are right, Kyle. 100 gig to 10. I think the website will go from 10 gig to 5 or 6 gig. If he uses AVIF, it could go down to, say, 3 to 4 gig, maybe. Might even be 2 gig. But even then, like... any website that's over half a gig, I would question a bit. All right, you're over half a gig. Why? Why are you over half a gig? If you've got 121,000 products, my next question would be, do you need to have all those products on there? Are they still products that you're selling or ever going to sell? Do you need to clean up the shop a little bit? Eddie, I find the WooCommerce plugin in their store. Yeah, they are. They are absolutely too expensive. It's extortionate, you know. I mean, the subscription one, I did try to create a code snippet for subscription. The trouble is, though, it then required... Sorry, I'm going to yawn. It was a very late night last night, making sure version 3 was ready, and then this morning someone mentioned a little issue and I went and did version 3.1, which is what you'll see when you go to the code. So it was an early morning rise at 5 a.m. again. I do not know who in their right mind would ever go and buy 3/4 of the WooCommerce extensions. They're extortionate. The price of them is ridiculous. And I did try a subscription code snippet. I tried about 2.5 years ago. Then I tried again last year, this time last year, and I just could not get it right, because you then have to start looking at, hey, Pixstar, you then have to start looking at APIs with like Stripe and plugin. And it basically got too complicated for me. I felt like even with AI, I'm way out of my comfort zone now. AI was saying, yep, try this, try that. And I was like going, oh, this is not making proper sense to me now. So I dropped it. I will probably revisit it. What new tool should I look at now? Right? So I feel like we've got the image optimizer, Pix Refiner done for now. What should I look at? Shall I revisit the whole WooCommerce subscription? Maybe I should revisit that. How about we create a tool that automatically checks your pages for accessibility? That's just come to my head. What about that? So it literally now says this button will fail the WCAG 2.1 AA standard, and this is what you need to do. So it doesn't just say you're going to fail, but it says this is what you need to do. That might be a good one, even though I'm kind of not so sure about the whole accessibility side of things, because obviously, you know, you ruffle feathers for no reason except that you're trying to do your best to help support it. Done old WooCommerce subscription, WooCommerce tickets. Ah, WooCommerce tickets. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Yes, I like your thinking there. You're thinking of event tickets. Maybe that's another one to look at. And a lot of people have said to me, why are you not selling Pix Refiner, the image optimizer? Why is it not a plugin? And why are you not selling it? So here's my reasons, right? The reason it's not a plugin is because the minute I make it a plugin, I'll have to respond to support questions and tickets. I'll have to be actively looking after it. I'll have to evolve it. I'll have to basically be fully accountable for it. And I don't want that. I have loads of other things to worry about. Thank you very much. It's an open source code. You can run with it now. I've given you a pretty solid foundation to build upon or to make better, or just feedback to me and we'll make it better together. And it's always free. And that leads on to why I'm not charging for it. The minute you charge for something, you now almost have a contract with the person who bought it. I need to look after you. And if your website fucks up because of my plugin that you paid for, that's on me. I made you pay for something, and you paid on the trust that you could run it and you wouldn't have a single issue. I can't guarantee you won't have a single issue. That's the problem with it. I cannot guarantee that, which is why I'm not monetizing it. I have no intention of that. But together, we, ChatGPT, Grock, all of us, we can start to make things now that 3 years ago we dreamt about. We wished someone would do it, but we now have an opportunity. And if anything, hey Hemel, if anything, this code snippet now that I put together should show, hey friendly girl, this should show you the potential of what you can achieve, right? Before, you may have seen someone write a dissertation with AI and gone, wow. You may have seen someone create a logo or an image and gone, wow. You may have seen someone create a bit of CSS or a little code snippet that did something and you've gone, wow. Have you seen how many lines and rows there are in this tool? I can't remember myself now. It's over 2,000. Have you seen the amount of rows of lines and code there is in there? That was done with me prompting AI, refining the prompt, interrogating what AI said, challenging it to do it different, getting it to inform me if there was a risk, critical server error 500, critical failure. How do we stop that? How do we make sure we're logging correctly? It's all down to the prompt. But the potential of what you could do with AI is brilliant. And I think we're at this opportune moment where we can start to create things that are game changers. Because the more you bring in-house, technically, my tool is a plugin as a code snippet, technically, if you think about it in a way. But the bloat is like, if you plugin might be that, code snippet like that, right? Because the plugin will have extra stuff loaded in. There may be other images and things like that. So it's a great thing to do. Right, back onto the questions. Keyframe creations. One thing I thought Elementor was going to bring in with their floating buttons and bars was potentially a floating cart button. Yeah, you are right. You are right. I actually did think, I thought that as well. I did think they were going to do that. So, you know, when they had like the little buttons that open like the WhatsApp or the Facebook Messenger and all of them, I did think that they would do something a bit more with that. I think there is a cart one though. I need to double check now. I think there is a cart thing. I might be wrong. T, how would you build a section with a table of treatments? You would just use a table. Like he says, a pricing table. Or you could stick the table into Excel, upload the Excel sheet into ChatGPT and say to ChatGPT, this is my table. I want my row header to look like this. I want my columns to look like this, or my rows, sorry. And then say, can you give me the HTML and the CSS styling to make this happen? And then it'll give you the code and you refine it, obviously, with extra words if you want. But you do that. That's what you do, T, right? You create it in Excel. You download it as an XLSX file. You upload it to ChatGPT or Grock. And you go, here's my table. It's got 5 columns. It's got 20 rows. The first column is my header. I want my header to look like da-da-da-da-da, right? And it goes and does it for you. And then you refine it and you just copy that and stick it in as a HTML and you'll be fine. That's all you got to do. You know, and like you said, you know, you want to have like a appointment booking button. Again, you tell it what it wants and it will tell you what you need to do. And you could be fine. Or not. But, you know, you get the idea. Paul Burgess, Fluent Forms now include subscriptions in the free version, but they charge 1.9 commission. The Pro removes their fee. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Fluent Forms is good. Friendly Girl, I had a wild discussion recently. The URL path versus the... right. Yes. If you have URLs that are too long, sometimes they don't work because of... If they're too long, they sometimes they don't work properly. Not for internet. When you paste it, it will go wherever it needs to go. But sometimes, if you've got it too long, it don't look great on social media. It can cause a problem with your files and database if they are massively too long. So I would say don't create them too long. Hey Mia, great to see you. Hope you're okay. I mean, I'm always mindful, and to be honest, Friendly Girl, I had one client once, right? And in the end, we never worked together. And then they came back to me and they weren't happy with the price, but I still was like, I'm not lowering my price. But they were a tennis coach, and their process was to book him. You go from home page to a services page to an adult page to a further refined services page to a type of class page to a booking. So your URL was like /the /the. And I said to him, that's ridiculously long. I said, when you share that on Facebook to anyone, if you want to book me, go here. Because, oh, no, I'll just share the homepage. I go, a lot of people, unless you are the most fucking ridiculously popular, amazing coach in the world, trainer, People ain't going to like it that they have to go click, 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 book. It's, yeah. So I always try and speak to my clients about if I notice that's going to happen. Yeah, please do smash the like button, by the way. Mia is doing non-computer stuff today, streaming the live chat on my TV. Nice to have your company. How's your partner? I can't remember their name, Mia. What was your partner's name? And I hope they're okay. And how are the animals? Cats and dogs and hens and chickens and llamas and horses and peacocks. How are they all doing? What about keywords inside a category and the individual post? When they come twice, it sucks. Yeah, it does. And this is where you could go and change your permalink, but I would say, if they're not too long, just go with it. Just go with it. Hey, Dots. I am unfortunately yawning quite a lot, and that's a pretty telltale sign because the last 10 days have been relentless for me in terms of when I first thought up this wonderful idea of the WebP converter to today. It's been, in fact, I'll include this morning, so it's just over 10 days now. Just over 10 days has caught up with me. In fact, I'm yawning again. That kind of shows just how tired, very late nights working, testing with clients, websites, backups, people I don't even know who are happy to lend me logins to their staging sites and stuff to test out. So it's been laborious. And then on top of that, you have client work. I've got 2 client things to sort out, something for someone else. Couple of videos I still need to edit that I recorded last week and I haven't touched on editing yet. So you have a backlog of things, and I've got like someone who's got a proposal for me for collaboration. I've worked with them before. We now want to take it a stage further. I've named my price. They've agreed to it. We just need to finalize the contract or whatever we're going to do. There's things you got to do, right? Hey, Mohammed, don't worry, okay? Not everyone's going to hit like. If you are on a mobile phone, hitting like ain't that easy. And sometimes if you're watching on TV as well, so don't read anything too much into it. It's not a major problem. I like it when people hit the like, but it ain't the end of the world. Lena, that was it. Lena, hope you're doing all right, Lena. Hey, Artif. Artif, have you checked out my image optimizer? And you're going to say, yeah, it's shit. But have you checked it out? The new version that came out today, version 3.1. Take it back up and have a play with it. Tell me what you think. Mohammed also said how to create a fixed product animation that moves to another section of the page to a specific place, maybe next to text. They're talking about what product. I don't fully understand that because you could do like a fixed position or a sticky. It all very much depends. Sorry, I'm yawning. I think that you need to jump over to the websquadron.co. No, you need to jump over to Facebook, the Web Squadron group. I'm feeling really tired, everyone. I am really exhausted. You got to go to the Facebook group, Web Squadron, and explain and clarify what you mean, because what you've said there feels a little bit ambiguous. So you might need to do a scribble where you go, here's section 1 and the animation is here. When you scroll down to section 2 and I've got some words, I want it to move to there. You might need to just do that kind of thing. Cheers, RT. I hope Mark likes it as well, by the way. Thanks very much, RT. I mean, I think this code snippet, and I said earlier, could be bettered. And if Mark is able to make it better, if anyone is able to make it better, more future-proof or whatever, then I hope they can either do their own version, but I hope they feed back to me so that we upgrade the new version kind of thing. And it's always going to be free, and it's always going to be to help people out there with brand new websites or people who have got legacy bloated websites. Like I mentioned earlier, someone emailed me, Artif, and they're planning to run it. Their website is over 100 gigabytes. Just saying it feels fake. It's all fake news. It feels fake even when I say it. I'm like, what? Right, okay. Yeah, by the way, Mohammed, one thing, I mean, when you share a video though, you need to still explain exactly what you mean and what you want, okay? Because if you share a video, and I just went and lost the URL there. If you share a video but you don't explain what you're after or what you want, people don't always watch videos. All right? People don't always watch them. So many people stick a Loom video or a special video, or they say, go and look at this link to see the problem. And a lot of people don't click because you're expecting someone to stop what they're doing and now sit there and watch. And unless they want to, they won't do that. Yeah, but Mohammed, no one's going to watch it. Even I won't watch it. So like I just said, you need to clarify with an image, a scribble, so that we can visually see it. Because the other annoying thing is some people record a video and it's silent. So I have to sit there and watch a 1-minute video and I'm literally going, I'm not sure what I need to exactly be looking for. So people, they record a video and it's silent. Or you can hear them breathing. So the microphone was on and you can hear other people in the background going, and there's noises going on in the background, right? Or you can hear someone making chapatis or roti or doing something, but they're not talking. And when I see those videos, I literally think, well, if you can't be bothered to explain and talk, I ain't got time either. But I would say that if you can clarify with as much detail, you will probably get a much better answer. And that's my tip to everyone. Don't just post silent videos. Don't just post a video and go, people are going to watch it and help you. They won't. You need to have... And here's the other thing also. You know when you post questions in forums? Don't just post one paragraph that's like 6-7 lines long. When you build a design, what's one of the things you need to have in your mind? White space. Make it breathe, right? So if you're going to explain something, try to be clear. What have you done? New paragraph. What's the problem with it? New paragraph. What have you done and why you did it? New paragraph. What's the problem? New paragraph. What do you want to get fixed, or where are you struggling, or what have you tried? Try and explain things like that. So it's easier for us to read. Because I get really annoyed when people it's like they've written like a whole dissertation and they stuck it in and you literally have to read it word by word. Because when things are spaced out, you're able to scan, you pick up the keywords, you pick up, problem, blah, blah. But when it's a solid paragraph, you're like this now. You go, make sure you don't miss anything vital and important. Tony used a Pix Refiner last night and it saved over 50% of space. Wow. I love it. 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 Right. I am going to screenshot that. No, I'm not going to screenshot it. What kind of size are we talking about here? Right. So 50%. What was it before? And I love that. I love to read that because so many people have come back to me with these kind of stories, either as a comment, a private DM, a private email. Kyle shared a spreadsheet. In fact, no, I'm not going to open it. No, but he shared a spreadsheet of websites and it had like over 40 gigs saved. It was over 25 websites, but even that, imagine you've got a shared server, say SiteGround or whatever, right? And you got 20 websites on there and you're already like up to here, whatever in your sizes. And then suddenly you see your sizes go like this. Whoop, Obviously, it doesn't affect your inodes, so you got to watch out for that, you know. But if it then means that you've got more space for basic websites, so you don't have to rush out to buy a new server or get more space, that is a win. And I've been live now for 1 hour, 9 minutes. I'm going to jump off now. Or when I say jump off, I'm going to jump. All right, okay, cool. You've sent a request. I will just double check, mate. It's taking a while. Facebook is a bit slow today. Damn it, Facebook is proper slow today. Your member request. I can see your name, mate. You're in. All right. Remember, no spamming. You know, no soliciting for work with anyone, or you get chucked out. I'm very firm on those rules. But yeah, clarify as much as you can what you're trying to achieve. Keep it simple. You know, don't overcomplicate what you're trying to do or the way you explain it. And you'll be fine. Okay, everyone, I'm going to jump off now. Smash the like button. Go and give the Pix Refiner a go. A lot of the images were 1400. That's okay. And that's the other thing also. I have forgotten to mention this in my videos and some of the communication I've put out. If you've got a transparent PNG or a JPEG, it maintains the transparency when it converts it into a WebP or an AVIF. All right, I've tested that as well. Donald says the link for the new one. Well, you need to watch the video, Donald. I would strongly recommend you go and watch today's video, and I'm going to get you a link for today's video because you really do need to understand some specifics about the tool and some of the changes since last week. So I'm just going to paste it in again, right? You need to watch the video. Okay, don't just download it. Watch the video, especially how much I stress on the version 3 has changed, Donald. Version 3 is even better with even more extra stuff and slightly changed the layout ever so slightly, but it will make sense when you see it. But you got to make sure you watch the version 3 video because you just need to get it in. Am I planning to add any more new features? Eddie says. One of the features potentially I might do, Eddie, is if you use AVIF and the browser does not currently work with AVIF, then what it does is it rolls, it has a fallback, which is WebP. The only reason that I'm not keen on doing that is because that will then mean you have to have an AVIF version of the image and a WebP. Now, if you've not got a lot of images, you're okay. If you have, it slightly defeats the object of what I was trying to achieve. So if I'm really, if I'm really being honest, I don't think I will add any more new features, Eddie. I think now this is as good as it needs to be. Yeah, John, I won't sleep until much later. I've got client stuff to do now and look at, so I've got stuff to roll up war. Would I go with AVIF? The thing is, though, Eddie, AVIF is definitely better as long as your end user has updated their iPhone. If you're on iOS, you have to be on iOS 16 or greater since 2022. If you are less than that, you won't be able to see AVIF. So you got to think about your end user. So if your end user is a kid and their mum and dad has given them their phone and the phone's not updated to iOS 16, they won't be able to see it. If your end user is someone who's elderly and they've got like a pretty old phone and they've not updated for ages and all of that, right? They could have an issue as well. So you got to think about who is your end user. But yeah, you could use AVIF. Donald, people uploading unoptimized PDFs that are 30. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a way we can optimize PDFs. I don't know. Let me have a think about that. Donald. And Mikey for you says, yuck, iPhone, Android is the future. All right, everyone, I'm going to jump off now. Look, take care. I've got lots of other stuff to do. Thanks for coming on to the live chat. Thanks for supporting the WebP image optimizer, which is now called the Pix Refiner. Thanks for watching videos. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving love. And I hope you accept the love I give back to you. I love how we all keep making a difference. I love how we create. We are geniuses. We are brilliant. We are amazing people. We aren't just web designers. We ain't just web developers. We are people, and we fucking rule. Oh, Idris says, should I watch all 3 versions? No. Just jump into version 3. Just jump into version 3. You don't need to watch version 1. You can watch version 2, but just jump into version 3. And at the bottom, you'll have instructions that explain what all the buttons do, what order to click things in, and if there's anything you just need to be aware of, like, you know, with regards to your host provider and shit like that. Take care. Subscribe, like. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. I'll see you soon. Bye.